Welcome to Art and Talk's Flashpoint show. Thank you so much for being with us today. I'm Leslie Sue, the host for Flashpoint. Flashpoint is Art and Talk's adjunct video series where the guest artist has an opportunity to take on the role of teacher and instructor. The guest artist provides flashpoints, which are key insights, tips, recommendations, and advice in their area of artistic expression. So the guest artist provides inspiration, provides teaching, and also facilitates knowledge. All right, so our guest for today, she's a poet, she's an influencer, she's a speaker, and she's also an activist. She's going to be helping us explore the area of the art of effective public speaking. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I'd like to welcome our guest today for Flashpoint, Goddess Emajah. Hi, Goddess Emajah, welcome.
Hi, Miss Leslie Sue. Thank you so much for having me.
It's great to reconnect with you again. Before we get into your flashpoints, and I'm so excited that you're going to take us on this like little mini journey into getting some insights into the art of effective public speaking. But before that, can you just bring us up to speed a little bit? What's going on with your speaking and your poetry?
So everything is really just falling in alignment. I'm getting more speaking gigs. I am writing more poetry. I'm performing in front of deeper crowds, bigger crowds. So, you know, I'm really definitely excited. And now I'm starting to like get known. Like people are starting to say, okay, you're the speaker or you write poetry or stuff like that. So it's definitely amazing. And I've also used my YouTube to also branch out and like get in-depth talks, and my YouTube has been growing too, so I'm very excited.
That's awesome. No, so some wonderful things going on for you in your creative life. That's great to hear. All right, yeah. I guess we should just go ahead and dive in, Goddess Emajah. Go ahead and tell us your first flashpoint so we can get a handle on the art of effective public speaking from your eyes.
Okay, perfect. So as I was like figuring out, okay, and deciding, what is key to becoming a speaker? What is key? First, I had to ask myself, is public speaking a skill? So to all the listeners, I want you to ask yourself, is public speaking a skill that's important? And if it is, then great, we already on the same wave. And if it's not, here's why I'm going to tell you. So there's going to be like it's going to be one moment in everybody's life where we going to have that center stage and we are going to have to perform in front of a group of people. Maybe that's in a class setting, maybe you be at work, or maybe you're in an amusement park. Next thing you know, you in a contest and you just won something, so then you have to speak whatever in front of a crowd. So I feel like it's definitely important to just learn how to have the confidence enough to speak in front of a crowd. So getting into the my first key point now, this actually might sound cliche, but I really didn't want to forget this because a lot of people look over it, you know? But I wanted to say that there is a difference. There's a key difference between becoming a speaker and becoming an effective speaker. You know, like a regular speaker is just somebody who talks and people listen. You know what I'm saying? But an effective speaker is somebody who gets you to feel the passion within your words and get them to want to change an action for themselves to be better. You know, so when becoming a speaker, know that there's a difference. You could just talk and everything that you'll say will probably go in one ear and out the other, or learn how to be effective and how to get people to feel the passion in which you are talking about in the topic. A lot of people, they feel like when they go through problems that they're the only one who went through problems. And sometimes it might be a story in which you make that person who is misunderstood feel understood. So be that speaker to make that person who feels like they don't have anybody, to know that, wait, this person and kind of went through the same stuff I went through. And this person is growing, or this person is in kind of alignment, or this person is just showing me that I can do things. And they didn't make it all, like, it didn't all seem as simple for them either, you know, because a lot of people they honestly don't really like when people seem too perfect. So when you're becoming a speaker, one thing to maintain on how to become an effective speaker is to share your story, share the downs, share the times where you had to be your own hero, where you had to be your own best friend, you know, and remind people that this is a part of the process. Don't be afraid, you know, because your story also differentiates you from everybody else. And that also, which brings me into my third key point. This one is very important, and it is to maintain eye contact. Yes, maintaining eye contact is very important for effective key speaking. You know why? Because it tells and shows the person that you care and that you are paying attention to them. Everybody wants to feel like we are important, because we are important. Everybody wants to feel like they are special. They are the one. We just want to be shown attention to. So as a speaker, as a public speaker, your job is to make sure that everybody feels important. Everybody feels comfortable, you know, and you can do that by eye contact. And that's why I got into it, because listen, I wanted to say this, listen, because if your eyes is all over here, you know, that's all right, but people are going to notice that. And make sure to maintain your effectiveness and to get people to actually feel what you're saying so they can make changes within themselves. You want to know that, listen, I'm serious, I'm looking you in your eye, and I'm looking you in your eye, and you in your eye too, because everybody is also going to interpret your message differently. So you want to make sure you get to as many people as possible. And what I want to tell for some people who may have problems with maintaining eye contact, because it was definitely me. It took me a long time to actually just start to want to look people in the eye. And I realized it was an internal issue. So I would say start by looking yourself in the mirror. But don't just look at yourself in the mirror like, okay, I'm cute. Look at yourself, scream, dance, sing, get naked. Yes, get naked, do some crazy stuff, and look yourself in the eye and call yourself beautiful and feel it. I realized that it took a while for me to actually like what I see, to love every part of me. And because it was hard for me even looking at myself, it was definitely hard for me to look at other people. But when I started to take time to love and see myself, talk to myself loud, proud, then it helped me get better and better with maintaining eye contact and keeping my attention with my the person that I'm talking to. So if you have a problem with maintaining eye contact, then look yourself in the mirror constantly and find that you will find yourself that you're going to get better and better at maintaining that focus. All right. And I just want to check, we have a little bit more time left for my last keynote?
We do, but before we get into that, Goddess Emajah, I love all these points that you're presenting. So first of all, you're saying that you want, in order to be an effective public speaker, you have to, first of all, convey the passion that you have through your words and really connect with others.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Mm-hmm. And then you're also saying that it's very important to really, like, you kind of take on so many different perspectives. Like you're saying, first of all, don't get so caught up in what you're saying, because you need to also feel it, but you also need to connect with those that you're speaking with, whether it's, you know, maybe a formal situation, or it could be with a group of friends, or it could be at work, whatever the situation is you really want to connect in with them, and also make sure that they're feeling, in a sense, what you're actually conveying. So it's a lot kind of going on. And then also, I love that with the eye contact, how important that is, because you're taking other people's feelings, in a sense, into consideration. You're saying, like, look, you are important, and I want this message to come through to you. I want you to understand it, and I want you to feel the passion that is behind it as well. And I love what you said too, that you don't have to come on as like perfect. You're saying, look, that is not really where it's at. You have to like, have the courage and the confidence, like you were saying, Goddess Emajah, to present your story, to tell your story, and that others are definitely going to benefit from that.
Yes, exactly. And one thing that you said that I want to highlight before I get on to this last point was connection. Connection is so important. And if you want to become an effective speaker, find the way of how you can connect with your audience. Because when you connect, then you don't just get that in one ear and out the other. You get that days later, I'm thinking about what this person done said. And that's the kind of reaction that you want, because you don't want to, if you just want to talk just to talk, then that's selfish. There are so many problems in this world that you can have a solve, you can have an answer to. So if you're talking, find a problem to solve, because there's many in the world and people need it. But okay, so now I'm going to get into my last keynote, but I definitely wanted to highlight what you said right there, Leslie, because that was very important. Connected. But my last point, which is kind of my favorite, and I'm really glad that I got to get to this one, it is to practice what you preach, but not practice what you preach for your audience. Practice what you preach for self. Because I hate to say it, not saying that the viewer who was watching this is that type of person, but there are many people in this world who can't tell the difference between real and fake. So it'll be a lot of people that's out here speaking, on social media, living false lives, and people are like, oh my God, this person's who? And that's not who really they are in the background. Then you do have some people who are who they represent. But the main reason why I say practice what you preach for yourself is so that you can build that inner confidence to know that you belong to be where you're at. Because if you don't have that inner confidence, then you're going to self-sabotage yourself. And yourself could be your greatest enemy or your greatest best friend. So to become an effective speaker, trust yourself. So do things that you do things that you say you're going to do for yourself, for the dark, when nobody's watching, when it's just you and God. Like, practice that. Because then you're going to realize you're going to find opportunities that is in alignment with what you want to be. And then you're going to be like, oh, snap, I didn't work really for this. I didn't even realize I didn't work so much for this. And it's going to fill you and fuel you with so much energy. So that is my last key point, to practice what you preach on the inside, so that you have that confidence within to go out and share your message to the world.
That was great, Goddess Emajah. And so there's like 2 points, just kind of reflecting on what you were saying in terms of confidence, because effective public speaking is really going to kind of step into your confidence. And so just backtracking just a little bit, you were saying that if you have trouble looking people in the eye, that as you were saying, that you were looking at it within yourself, and I think this is applicable, to many, that you have to go within. You were saying kind of have that self-referral and kind of, in a sense, heal what's going on inside you, and have the confidence of being able to look someone in the eye because of your self-love, your self-appreciation, your self-acceptance. And then now you were also saying, in addition to kind of that mirroring and kind of like, saying positive affirmations when you look in the mirror, really, build yourself up, because no one else is going to do it unless you do it. And it's kind of part of self-love and stepping into the shoes of confidence and speaking well. And then you were also just touching upon, like you were saying, practice what you preach, like whatever you are speaking about, make sure that, your ducks are in a row in your private life, so to speak, that you're actually living with authenticity, so to speak.
Yes, exactly. Because I feel like to be an effective speaker, which separates you from regular public speakers, is that you done lived through what you are telling people about. So you have first class visual on the problems and on the highs and ups and the downs on what you're trying to get people to understand or go to and fight for, because you did it yourself. And to be really an effective speaker is to affect your own life, change your own life, and then share that message. And that will make you different. That will separate you, because you are living who you are. You are living your best self. And that's all we ever really talk about is how to become our best self, you know, and we get better and better. The more we work on ourselves, the more we test ourselves, the easier and the stronger. And I promise y'all, the more confident you are going to feel if you're talking about that in front of a group of people.
Yes, and so as you're saying, Goddess Emajah, that confidence, being an effective public speaker, as you so beautifully said, is really an inner practice as well as an outer practice.
Yes, exactly. I feel like it's just as much an inner practice and an outer practice.
Mm-hmm. And I'm just watching before we wrap up this flashpoint, and I love the flashpoints that you've been presenting. If someone is watching this, and let's say, you know, everyone pretty much has a story that we've been saying that others can benefit from. It's just kind of really having the confidence, as we've been talking about, you know, and the courage to say, okay, you know, this is some things that I've been through. These are some things that I've experienced. These are how I'm getting through them. If it's something current, or maybe this is how I did get through it. If it's something, you know, maybe in the past that they've healed from and they know others will benefit from. So if somebody is watching this and maybe they want to share some of their story, but they're listening to what you're saying and going to follow these flashpoints, but is there anything else you'd recommend to kind of like really help them, you know, step into that, you know, place of real, you know, pure confidence and saying, yes, I want to share this, because it can be kind of scary. Anything to help them kind of overcome a couple fears?
Mm-hmm. All right. So to leave that off, one thing that I want to tell you guys, okay, so I'm going to answer that in a short story. Is that all right? So on my first performance, I was very nervous. My first poetic performance, I was nervous. It wasn't that many people, but I'm like, I can't perform in front of these people with how I am now. And I called my support system, and I'm like, you know, what should I do? What should I do? What should I do? Everybody didn't answer except for one person. This one person answered, and they told me, well, listen, you ain't got to. I'm at a party right now, so you can come on down. My intuition wanted it so bad that I was like, you want to tell me to not do what I love just because I'm scared? So my advice to you is follow your intuition. No matter how small that voice may sound, no matter how soft the voice or the whatever may come across to you, follow your heart. What makes it stronger to continue is the courage to start. So no matter where you at, scared, afraid, shy, start where you at. Just start. Don't even think too much. Just jump in. Follow your intuition, because you never know where it may take you. And if you don't, you're going to regret it. You're going to regret it. And we don't want to have regret, because that's a lower frequency. So enjoy this life. Live. Just take it. One day, just take it. Whatever. Don't even think too much. Whatever. Just do it. And then think about everything later. That's my advice.
No, I love that. That's great. It's just do it. Just show up and let it happen. And then however it rolls, however it plays out is how it plays out, you know, and just keep going with it, you know, and just to understand that it's a process.
Right. Because, you know, we are not perfect. And actually, I heard somebody say, just redefine your definition of perfect. You know, you don't have to be the best speaker, poet, artist out there, but you starting that is putting you further than where you were before. So just go after it. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the worst that could happen? You mess up. Well, you know for yourself if this is something that you want to do. So everything I feel like is just a test at life to see what do we love and what do we hate. So instead of looking at this like life or death, just look at this as a test for yourself to see, okay, is this something that I'm gonna love doing, or is this something that I don't think I'm gonna like doing in the long run? Maybe that will help.
Yes, absolutely. And I love your words of encouragement, your words of upliftment. And, you know, I think this is applicable for an artist and for a non-artist, because the art of effective public speaking can, you know, come across the board in so many ways. Of course, for an artist to be able to, you know, articulate and speak, you know, fluently about their art and whatnot. And for someone else, you know, just to have those skills, you know, in a public setting, as we were saying before, whether it's work or a group of friends or, you know, whatever the situation might be. And I love how you bring it back, like just trust your intuition, trust your heart. I love all these flashpoints that you've brought us into. Thank you so much, Goddess Emajah.
Thank you so much. I love being here with Art and Talk. It is so amazing. It's always a wonderful experience.
Thank you so much. All right, well, we do need to wrap up our Flashpoint for today. Wishing you much success with your poetry and your public speaking and all your other endeavors. And thank you so much for being our guest on Flashpoint today.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching Flashpoint today. If you are an artist and you're interested in being on Flashpoint, taking on the role of an instructor or teacher, let us know by emailing us at viewoftheartist@gmail.com. We'll get back to you with scheduling and information. Please stay connected with us on social media, like and follow us on Facebook, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We appreciate your support. All right, we'll talk soon on the next Flashpoint. Until then, be well and be blessed.